I don't think I've reviewed any of the previous Manhunts. I didn't feel they necessarily needed to be reviewed, but the conclusion of Season 9 set a new standard and really showed us what the future of storytelling could look like in The Division 2, and I think this is something worth talking about. Hello, I'm Abrax and welcome to my short review for The Division 2 Season 9 and Captain Lewis Manhunt. First, if you enjoyed this video, why not give it a like, and while you're down there, don't forget to hit subscribe so you don't miss any future content. With that, let's get into it. All Division 2 seasons have followed a similar layout, one main target and 4 minor targets to take out before you can reach the main target, plus league speedruns, global events and apparel events sprinkled throughout, and the majority of the storytelling has been done through audio logs as the seasons progress. The structure of the Manhunt targets have always been very much the same, 4 minor targets that basically play out as bounties, a side activity that already exists in-game, but with a specific name and character model. To get to these targets, you have to complete a collection of objectives in the open world, control points, etc. The main target would have their own variation of an existing mission, which was always welcome. But Season 9, the first new season that we've seen in game for quite a while, has changed this up a little bit. Season 9 itself follows the overall structure of the previous seasons, 1 main target, 4 minor targets, leagues, global events and so on. But where it strays from the norm is with its storytelling, with the final target knocking it out of the park. Before we talk more about the good, I do want to get some of the bad of Season 9 out of the way. The apparel events. Season 9 has had some hiccups releasing apparel events, which is a shame because a lot of players were really looking forward to getting some new outfits. I believe this was due to issues with the items themselves fitting the character models, causing clipping and the clothes not fitting quite right. Although players were annoyed about the delays, I do think it was a better play to delay the events rather than release them with issues. Both choices would have frustrated players, but I think a delay is the lesser of two evils. Also, while we're talking about the bads, it might be worth mentioning Agent Kelso. For some reason, for some players, she just disappeared, making it impossible to hand in the encryption keys. This was a bit weird and hopefully it gets resolved at some point, or definitely if the season reruns. Okay, we've got the grumbles out of the way, back to the Manhunts. The rotating activities of Season 9 are very much the same as we've seen before, where Season 9 made its changes were with the 5 targets. The first change I noticed was the grind needed to unlock the minor targets has been quite reduced. In the past, some of these have felt like slogs through areas of the map, completing a checklist, that didn't really feel connected to what you were doing. You were just doing it because you had to. Then you unlock the bounty for the target. In Season 9, this is reduced to maybe 4 things, with some of them being designed in a way to make them feel like they fit with the Manhunt. For example, very early on for one of the minor targets, you need to take a propaganda broadcast. A normal open world activity, but this time the target, Major Costello, was using the loudspeakers to tell his story, talking about how he blamed Sierra, the JTF, and the Division for the death of his wife and his unborn child, caused by green poison. It was subtle changes like this that made these minor targets slightly more immersive and feel less like a tick list and more like part of the overall story connecting to the Manhunt. We of course still see story being told through comms and audio logs, but these felt a little bit more connected to the overall narrative, with callbacks and connections to previous Manhunts. Taking out the minor targets also took place in mission zones, which made them feel a little more special compared to previous Manhunts, where the minor targets were just kind of normal bounties. These are all great changes to the structures of the Manhunt, but where Season 9 really blew me away was with the final target, Captain Lewis. I kind of have a working theory on this final mission, but first I'm going to break it down, so if you haven't played it yet and you don't want it spoiled, I highly recommend you go play it first. It is worth it. Consider this your spoiler warning. The final mission for Captain Lewis takes place at the Jefferson Trade Center mission. But when you arrive, something's off. The front of the building is scattered with bodies of True Sons and Black Tusk and a strange blue-purple smoke. As you head inside, Lewis calls for backup. The Black Tusk has taken the center, but this call is intercepted by Kelso, asking him to stand down. He warns us it's not the Black Tusk we need to worry about, and we head inside to meet him.
It's not the Black Tusk you should be worried about. Have your team meet me inside.
This already flips the story on its head. Instead of hunting down Lewis, we're going in for a meeting and teaming up against a bigger unknown threat. It's also the first time we've met up with an NPC to drive the story for quite a while. At Kelso's request, Lewis heads off to defend the SHD node, but before he goes, he warns us to keep our eye out for the recruiter. The plot thickens. We intercept a hostile communication. Jack Bonney seems to be running the show.
Hostile radio intercepted.
Bonnie wants to know if you got the turret back online.
What do you think?
That you're an incompetent ass?
It's online.
Good. Now get back here. Bonnie's got more work for you.
We're spotted by an unknown drone, then we see him, the recruiter. A hunter standing above us for just a moment before stepping back into a cloud of blue smoke. The recruiter is here for Bonnie, assessing him for recruitment into the hunters. After another sighting of the recruiter, we meet Lewis at the door to the SHD node. It's secure.
No problem, Agent. True sons know how to follow orders.
After fighting through a ton of the Black Tusk robo-dogs, we get to the entrance where we find a downed True Son to interact with and another cloud of blue smoke. With that, the trap is sprung.
How predictable, Agent.
Bonnie seems to be using an unknown network to control drones, potentially the same network used by the hunters, which explains their use of SHD tech. We head out to confront Bonnie, while Lewis provides us with some less than useful air support, dropping DC-62 around the area to suppress Bonnie's escape. All the while, the recruiter watches from above. We kill Bonnie and Isaac confirms him as Agent Jack Bonney, classified.
Identification confirmed. Agent Jack Bonney. Status classified.
The status Kelso hasn't come across before, and she asks us to collect his watch. Lewis gets in contact and tells us when we finally figure out what's going on to find him and to talk to our boy. Curious. We head back to the White House and we find out that Schaefer's plan was to be captured by the Division and brief us on something that McManus and Sokolova have been working on. Then we're treated to a cutscene. You heard that right, a cutscene for a manhunt.
We need to talk.
Oh, so you're talking to me again. You buddies in New York too busy to take your call?
I finished decrypting Lau's insurance policy.
Did she tell you why she did it? There's no way she can justify joining Black Tusk and assassinating the president. When did everything get so complicated?
The minute one asshole decided his Christmas present to the world was a global pandemic.
Fucking Amherst.
We've contained that threat, but there's a bigger one on the horizon.
I know. Whatever the True Sons have been fighting.
What Faye was helping them fight, what she was trying to warn us about. She figured out what was really going on and she tried to warn us, but we didn't get the message. She tried to give us a clue back at Coney Island and an ally. Where's Schaefer?
Same place he always is.
What's his status?
Stable, but in a coma. Been like this for weeks. And we're just tube feeding our enemy.
He's not our enemy. Not anymore. Manny, he's the key. She left us a key, and if we want to stop what's coming, we need to wake him up.
We need Schaefer as an ally, but he's currently in a coma. We need to wake him up and find out what it is we're facing. And that is it for now. I'll be honest, this had me gripped. The cutscene ended and I genuinely wanted and was eager for Season 10. For me, this was one of the best endings to a manhunt we've seen. There was a good twist, there was intrigue, the mission difficulty was good, and the story progressed in what felt like a meaningful way. And it left me wanting more. Now, I have a small theory I kind of want to throw out there. Throughout the minor manhunt targets, we saw the mysterious drone that appeared just before we encountered the recruiter for the first time. Taking out every minor target in Season 9, the drone appeared, seemed to be watching, did nothing, you could shoot it, but that was about it. So, bear with me here, but what if, and it's a big if, the recruiter is not here for Bonnie. What if the recruiter had actually been watching us using Bonnie as some kind of final test? It would be interesting if during season 10 or even 11, we're actually approached by a hunter with the intention of recruiting us into their organisation. We have the skill, we understand the tech, and we've proven ourselves to be extremely competent at getting the job done. Of course, I couldn't see our character going along with it, but it would be an interesting twist and setup to the story. Or it could be the ramblings of a madman. So what do you think? Have you played the mission yet? And are you excited to see the direction that the Division 2 storytelling is going? Let's nerd out about it in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, why not give it a thumbs up to let me know? And while you're down there, why not subscribe? You've already watched this far, so there's a good chance I have a few more videos you might want to check out. As always, a big thank you to my awesome supporters over on Patreon. These folks keep me topped up on coffee, which I'm pretty sure is the only reason I'm still standing these days. If you'd like to join them, you can support the channel for as little as £1 a month. You'll find a link for that in the description below. Or, if you prefer, you can now become a channel member by clicking join right next to subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.